Hello, and welcome to Depth Perception. We discuss movies and dive into how films direct the way we experience them. We create a perception of sound, a perception of sight, with a dimension of mind. We move into a land of both shadow and substance, of themes and ideas. I'm Vaz, joined by Tin the Toolman Taylor, and you know his partner, K-Max.
Better late than never.
So this week, us three guys had our work cut out for us, much like the three men in the movie we reviewed this week. 2008's Mamma Mia, starring Meryl Streep, Amanda Seyfried, 007, King George, and the bad guy from Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Brilliant.
Directed by, and I'm like always, I don't know how to pronounce these names. Phyllida Lloyd, directed by, and written by Katherine Johnson. So, from
Johnson, nailed it.
Exactly.
I agree. That's got to be how it's
So from previous episodes, it's no secret, at least my disdain for the movie. But as a wise man once said, wisest, great guy, once said, one cannot begin to refute another's stance if one is unwilling to see things through that other point of view. Oh. I don't know who he was. He was a great guy, though.
Handsome.
A very, very wise and powerful man this was. So I was going to watch it this time around and figure out just why did I not like this movie so I could maneuver around it and properly analyze this thing. However, you cannot change first impressions.
Yes.
And that's where we'll start. I believe I explained some of this already, but I was with my girlfriend at the time, and wife now, and her sister. And I think that was our first, one of our first outings, where her family was kind of starting to get to know me a little bit. So I didn't dare argue, what movie we would go see. But it was sure last on my list at the time. And this is, it's just so fitting where we stand on it now, but we'll get to that later. I will only offer sentence fragments when it comes to describing my thoughts as to my first impression, as I had to sit there and let it happen to me. I thought, no conflict, no consequences, no depth, can't breathe. Musical based on ABBA hits. Shoot me now. I vowed to never watch it again. And that's my first impression.
That's wonderful.
And you saw this in theaters the first time watching it.
Yes.
Oh, man.
I just keep thinking
Just
of Vaz
stuck there.
saying, what is this BS?
Yeah.
Every single scene.
That's wonderful.
Did the girls have a good time watching it?
I don't know.
It's perfect. Oh, dear.
No discussion afterwards. Let's go home.
Well, I
Just go
didn't
home.
I didn't want to give a bad impression of myself, so I just someone turn up the music and we'll just go home. I think dinner's on. You guys are up.
Oh, man, it's so good. I mean, no, I didn't like it. I think I went in trying to like it. I tend to like musicals. I like music, right?
Yeah.
Not sure I'm the biggest ABBA fan, but I don't hate them. I like fun, so I thought people are having fun watching this. And it wasn't right away because I had gotten some of the vibe, some of the critical vibe, and said some good, some bad. And I thought, okay. And I always, if something seems to have an effort to be fun, and when I see grown-ups having fun and celebrating and dancing, I tend to want to get behind it because it could use more fun. And I just remember thinking, first impression, this is hot garbage. this is. I just thought, from the singing, from some of the folks singing, I'm like, if you're gonna have a musical type thing, then have someone that can sing first of all, and then some of the. I felt like there were some plot flaws. As someone who thinks he's a writer, maybe not a very good one, but I try. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is bad. And then I heard, well, it's based off of music. So I'm like, yeah, but Pirates of the Caribbean is based off of a theme park ride, and it's awesome. You're basing this off of something, and it's awful. So I guess my first impression was like, oh my goodness, this is not great. And then, not to jump the gun, and I'm not going to get into anything, but I'm like, watching it, I'm like, Mamma Mia, here we go again. It started feeling exactly the same way at the beginning.
All right. I went into this movie trying to be as positive as possible, despite Vaz. He's like, this is so bad. This movie's so awful. And I'm like, it's not that bad. It's probably, I can find something very much positive about this movie.
Yeah, he'll go into anything. If I give an opinion, he starts off the opposite.
I'll try to be opposite, just for conversation's sake.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and this one I was like, I know my wife. She saw that one and saw the second one. I didn't ask her opinion of it. I just know
Can't
she saw
be that
it.
bad then, right?
Right. And I'm like, hey, if you went to see the second one, it can't be that bad. I mean, look at the actors you have in this movie.
That's
You
right,
got
that's
some
true.
top tier actors. I hear about this movie. I hear the musical. Like, I'm like, it made money. Like, how bad could it be?
Good enough to make a sequel anyway.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Oh my gosh! Like 5 minutes in, I'm like, no, it's not all going to be like this, is it? I tried. I really did. I tried.
It's not all going to be like this.
Just like the first, just them getting off the boat. Oh my gosh, they're just going to scream. Just going to scream and hold each other. Just every over the top, corny female trope is happening constantly. Oh my gosh, it was a lot. It was a lot.
Yeah. So
Then I asked my wife, because I'm like, you saw the second one? She's like, oh yeah, it sucked. I was like, wait, you saw the second one too? She's like, yeah, I gave it a shot. I'm like, that one sucked too. I was like,
So, any listeners that are hovering over the stop button right now, I'll say I do have. That was our assignment, was to find the good in this. So hold on, but we.
this is our initial reactions. And we'll try to dig in.
We'll see if we can interest you with what we have to say.
See what we can salvage.
The cat paw.
Yeah, we're doing
the cartoon
CPR.
cat paw slowly backing away from the stop button.
But there's things that stuck out. Even the second time through, I mentioned to the guys that up until there's a certain song and a certain scene, and like a bell went off in my head. But everything before that, like everything was just how I remembered it. The Sophie's friends show up. The one's got her underwear hanging out of her jeans or whatever, and they're just, like you said, they're screaming, they're crawling over each other. And then Donna's friends show up, and Donna's running all over the pier, and it's like, oh, you don't own the place here. Like, let's let the locals, do what they got to do. Their fishing work or whatever they're doing on this pier, and she's running over, zigzagging and acting a fool. And then no one seemed to have any consequences, I'll invite these 3 strangers. I'm sure all 3 are safe to invite. I'm sure all 3 would be pleasantly surprised if they found out they had a child that they never knew about. I'm sure that'd be fine. And then when I find my father, I'm sure the other 2 will be fine coming here for absolutely no reason. And those are all the distractors I needed to set me on my way to vow to never watch this.
Well, honestly, I just kept feeling that my first time through, I just keep thinking of, because depth perception, I started watching it for the second time, right? And I won't get into that yet, but I was thinking the first thing in my head was Jack Nicholson's voice And what is it? What's the movie called? He goes, I take a man.
Something's got to give.
That's
Is that
it.
Yeah.
Take away reason and accountability.
How do you rate women so well?
How do you rate women so well? And the thing, I'm like, don't even cite that, because you're gonna be like, oh, you big sexist, you big. And I'm like, but at my first impression, that's it right there. It's like, why am I not liking it? Am I this obtuse and this ignorant of the female experience? Is that why I'm not? Is that why I'm by nature rejecting this? And I'm thinking, I'm usually a pretty. I have sisters. I have a mom and a matriarchal society.
Right.
There's a bent toward understanding women, I think. And I'm like, no, they're not this annoying. I actually like women. I just don't like these women for some reason. But don't press that stop button yet, because we haven't gotten to that part yet. Don't change that
But
dial.
first, we're not done berating these. No, I'm kidding.
Meryl Streep, you're better than this.
So we are. This episode's going to work a little bit different. Typically, we go into what we thought the theme was and more analytical stuff, but I feel like I'm going to gloss over the theme as I go through my upon further review.
Cool.
Because I have 3 pages worth of. Most of it's upon further review, but I have other things to say about it as well. So I'll kind of get into that. I'll stop after I talk about what I perceived as the theme, and see if you guys kind of agreed with it before I move on. So, as I was watching this movie again, it was hitting the same way. Like I said, there seemed to be no consequence to our main character's actions. Women didn't seem to be held accountable for having 3 sexual partners and unprotected in a span of like 2 weeks. No, it had to be
between
periods when
right?
she was, so I don't know, a week in a span of a week, maybe in a single summer. Well, she gave the dates in her diary, but I don't remember when they were.
Talk about take a chance on me.
A single summer.
I'm awful. I'm full of it, though.
More than her. Cut it in post.
Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance, take a chance. Did I say it 3 times?
So simple math would say that's too high of a, what do the kids say? Body count? I mean, if you start to add this up, that was a week. Now that's a single week of a single summer. Now, we got a couple summers, we got a couple years. That's a pretty high body count for this lady. And also, the daughter just invites 3 men so she can pick one out of the lineup and think that he's her dad. And no repercussions for that. Just 3 men being fine with being some part of this whole situation, and no sense of ick when the older friend is flirting with the young guy, and she disappears to the bottom of the screen in the beach song, whatever it is, I can't remember. So it all just felt like the movie injected straight serotonin and decided to just let it ride.
Just let it ride.
Set up the premise, inject the serotonin, let it ride. We'll see where it goes. That's what it seemed like. When I come across a movie that either I'm having a tough time getting through it, or I don't feel like I understand it, or I'm not enjoying it, I try to find the theme. So I'm desperate here. I'm scrambling to find something early that I can latch onto, and maybe it'll start to work out. So I did find one, and maybe not a strong one, but it was something to latch onto. So where I started was with the simple theme of romanticism. So romanticism of a situation, of fate, of a mistake, of love, of a fling. And I had to... Well, what do you guys think of that so far, though?
Yeah, I had responses a little bit to them, just hip shot, like the idea... Just the very basic ideas of, like promiscuity and like the male look because you're a stud, and then the female, you're a whore. Like you spend that, you have a body count that high at a certain age as a male. Oh, look at this stud, man. He's freaking bagging all these. Look at this guy. Mm-hmm. And then right away to sit back and use a female that does that in that window. You're like, what a hoe, It's like there's perceptions there that I thought in my head. I generally don't think that way about really anybody, but I'm thinking as a society and as a whole, you'd view, as a teenage person, there's a perception right away that, boy, he had a lot of lady friends or a lot of girlfriends, guys in high school. I mean, that guy was but I've always thought about both sexes that way. I'm like, that's a high body count right there for you, bro.
Yeah.
But I get, though, I want to be sensitive to the idea that society as a whole might have those viewpoints on, they might be uncomfortable looking at a woman in that role. But I'm thinking, no, I think that everybody has the same sensibilities of that is a pretty high count in a short amount of time, Mm-hmm. And Meryl Streep's character kind of like, the film just kind of keeps going saying, yeah. And so I started thinking about like that. It's like, is this just me being a male thinking this? Is that what it is? But the females that I know that have watched it that actually kind of enjoy the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, that was a little bit. Also, they were thought the same way. Like, wow, that's kind of that's not a like natural count, man or woman, to have and to celebrate. Even you know what I mean? To say that is a little peculiar. Again, I'm no prude, but I guess I am a kind of a prude in some ways to have that count in that short amount of time. I think if it was a guy too, I think I'd be like, dude, that's a quick turnaround here.
Mm-hmm. Especially because the first one she seemed to have such a connection with, the Pierce Brosnan character.
Yeah, and the justification's kind of shallow for that one and the next one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so, but then, as she's kind of going through that little soliloquy of here's why, and then here's why, I'm like, yeah, I get it, bro, but... ... Yeah, right. And then also with like the scene of, I remember just feeling yikes with the young man and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I just kept doing soul searching, thinking, do women feel like that's okay? Do all women feel like that's okay? And then I think of the people that I've talked to after, and they're like, yeah, that was cringy. You know what I mean? So I'm like, I'm glad it wasn't just me, but I wonder how much that I miss in my own perception, things that they might see. Like when I think of songs from the Beatles and songs like that, lyrics, I think, how did you get away with that? What was the context of your society at the time that, well, she was just 17, you know what I mean? I'm like, hold on here. And things like that are,
you keep getting older, they stay the same age. That's what's his name's line from
yeah, right. And that's the thing about it is like
Matthew
there's
McConaughey's
lyrics
line, yeah.
There's lyrics that I hear to these rock bands and these guys, and I'm like, dude, you should have probably been questioned it. You should have. And I'm like, I wonder if that's like a female in general. They probably, I wonder if this is like a Get Back movie. I wonder if this is like, here's our statement because you guys have all these movies and these songs. I'm like,
stay tuned.
Yeah. ...
I have to stop you there.
Sure.
Because, well,
Yeah.
Tin Man, what were your thoughts on the romanticism? Of
I agree. But that's like the female's version of Pleasure Island without the consequence. You don't get turned into jackasses at this one. But you kind of get turned into jackasses, I guess. So, but yeah, very much so. It's almost a fantasy.
I like
the fantasy
Pleasure
version
Island
of the island
for them.
and that's like Pinocchio's Pleasure Island.
Interesting.
But that's the jackasses they turn into, I guess. We were just talking about my daughter doing a study abroad. And I did a short one from NU, and I went to Amsterdam. And my first 3 days there, we're in like the port that's right off the river, and it's like red light district, and it's like I'm counting children. I counted 3 children. I go, why the hell are they even here? Like it's I was like, this place is Pleasure Island, like from Pinocchio. It seemed wild. The police give like so much leeway to criminals. It's like everyone that's from England that goes to like bachelor parties and stuff, they go there because it's a 25-minute flight or whatever. once you get out of that main hub, it opens up to like beautiful countryside. And
Sure.
it's very nice area outside of that.
But
But
you
those
didn't
first
see
3
that
days,
at
I
all.
didn't see it at first. I didn't see it in the first 3 days. I was like, this is Pinocchio's Pleasure Island. This is everything that like turns people into idiots is right here, and you give them free reign to act like jackasses.
I
It
see.
Gave me that same kind of vibe, but almost more for the female
3
perspective.
days, huh? You know, you're only supposed to be there the one day.
I lost my group. We lost him.
So
His broke and his pants were ripped off.
So after I latched onto that theme just for a little bit, but then I pulled from one of my mindsets in nursing when I'd be out in the field or I'd be talking with a patient and one-on-one setting, and they'd get to talking about this person messed me up or this doctor messed me up, this medication messed me up or whatever. This my history, a lot of people blaming other things rather than 50 years of habit. But either way, I'd say I'm not here to change what happened in the past. I wasn't there. I can't do anything about it. What I can do is help right now while I'm here talking with you, while I'm here addressing your wound or setting up your meds or whatever. I can improve things going forward. And so with that mindset, I started to see a little bit of that happening in the movie. So several moments where mistakes may have been made, but we're here, we're moving forward. We're finding happiness with our situation where we are right now. And after coming up with that improved, at least to me, improved theme, I started to see some connections and even some color symbolism throughout the movie.
Oh, nice.
So our mother and daughter duo wear a lot of blue and whites that mirror the waters with the sparkling white light from the sun coming off of it, and then also the blue sky with the clouds kind of mixed in. And so the thing with the sea and the sky is that they're always moving and they're always changing, and there's no way to go back. They're always moving forward. So each new cloud is different, each wave is unique, and they're fluid in perhaps the same way our ladies are perceiving life. And the only time that it seems Sophie isn't in blue or white is towards the end when she's stuck contemplating about her possible fathers, about her mom offering to cancel the wedding, when she reveals, and this might be the only butting heads or conflict that we get, when she reveals she doesn't want to repeat her mom's mistakes. And so she stopped moving forward, right? She's focused on the past. She stopped moving forward. She stopped chasing happiness. And her outfit at the time kind of has a design that resembles rocks and pebbles and has kind of an orangey, reddish design woven into the white. It's kind of hard to describe.
Interesting.
So it resembles like rocks and pebbles, which I mean, to me, a symbol of being stationary. And then also being that color very jarring against the blue and the white of where she was before. So as I continue to watch and solidify that theme, that started to make a little bit more sense to me. And I was like, okay, well, if you're saying that, then of course you're not going to dwell too much on the mistakes themselves or the reactions to these mistakes, because you're trying to say that happened in the past. We're here right now. Let's find happiness with our current situation. So I was like, okay, that lightens things up a little bit for me. And so I felt like I could check that off because, watching this, I was like, okay, I got to find something good about this movie. I got to find the theme. I got to find why I don't like it. There's all these checklists, that I'm trying to do so I don't have to watch this movie more than one more time. So I'm trying to accomplish everything in the one go. But that part made it simple, so I kind of checked that off. I was like, it's a theme. Maybe we'll see if it's correct or not. But And as I am starting to think of the next thing to check off is, how we're going to change our perceptions or see things from a different point of view or come up with our upon further review moment. So what do you guys think of that updated theme? The idea of, finding happiness from your current situation and not dwelling on past mistakes. Like, do you guys feel like that's a stronger theme, or you think romanticism was more?
No, I like that one because I like that one because of what the mom's going through, and then her saying, "I don't want to repeat the same mistakes as you," like in the movie itself. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it lends itself to them deciding not to get married, but
right.
But then that makes I feel like it would be better if she did, because then it would more solidify her want to move forward.
I mean, I could see their idea of finding happiness with their current situation. So what they actually want is to travel more. At least that's what the guy wanted.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to explore more, and I feel like that was part of Donna's mistake. Was she got pregnant young and couldn't explore, right. And so they're going to do that part first.
Yeah, like let's stay. We'll just do it as not married people, but I guess that's the solution, right?
Right.
Like, keep living in sin. See if this works out.
K-Max, any thought on the updated theme?
Yeah, I like the updated theme. Like embracing the moment, and then embrace the moment and approach it with optimism. Mm-hmm. When I see it that way, I was able to actually just drop, not all of them, but a lot of the reasons why I hated the first time. That's why I like when you jumped right to theme. I'm like, because that's when I felt like I was able to see it differently. When I said, well, if the filmmaker's not trying to do this, and if they are simply trying to show people living in the moment and embracing an optimistic outlook, then I buy into all of it. And if I can buy into all of it, it all makes more sense. I can get past, and that happens a lot of times with movies for me. I'll sit in my head, and once I get in my mindset, here's what they're trying to do, and I'm like, no, it's not going to work. And nope, doesn't support that. Nope, doesn't support. Like with grading, when I teach English, I'm grading a paper where a kid has come out and said, this is my statement, this is my thesis. And then they go on to support every other cockamamie idea except for their thesis statement. Mm. Or if it's a bad thesis statement, and I'm already thinking, no, that's not what the author was intending here, I find myself poking holes in it and using a lot of red ink. But if when I'm grading that same paper and I'm like, I see where you're going with this, kid. Your thesis statement was wrong from the get-go. You're supporting an argument wonderfully, just not the one that you stated. Mm-hmm. I had to do that for myself for this. I had to say, like Vaz said, if this is the purpose, if this is what the filmmaker is trying to accomplish, then I can buy all of this, because you're not trying to romanticize all these things that happened. You're saying, but if we look at it from this way and have an optimistic outlook and living in the moment, these are just people living in the moment with optimism. Then I can buy all of it. It freed me up to have the joy. It freed me up to enjoy the whimsical. It freed me up to even enjoy some of the cringy moments.
So, K-Max, we didn't talk about how we felt, upon further review, but I feel like we're getting at the same stuff here. And we'll see if Tin Man's on board or not. But
what's in this coffee?
It's Greek.
Yeah.
So I'm watching it and I'm thinking, okay, we got a couple things. We're getting there. We're almost halfway through, and then it hits. Perhaps the only ABBA song that I can vibe to, "Gimme, Gimme, Gimme" or "Man After Midnight." Mm. That started to play. No clue that it was by ABBA, but it's Ian MacKaye is a Buffalo Bandits player, and his goal song is like a remix of that. So I recognize like the flute or whatever is playing, and so I kind of perked up in my seat a little bit, like, hey, that's something from what I recognize. And so that started to play. Just as they strap up King George to the outdoor stripper pole. A man after midnight indeed. I thought, you magnificent sons of bitches. Of course, it's a chick movie written for women, by women. But they took it to another level, and they made us men the eye candy. The shallow bimbos of the movie. Of course, the men didn't care if they were lied to or if they, they could just leave and come to Greece on a whim. Of course, they look like movie stars, and of course, they didn't get upset or have any negativity whatsoever because they're men in this movie for women.
I got my lighter in the air right now.
Here.
Yeah.
It's like the filmmakers knew we'd be discussing lenses of different perspectives on a podcast 16 years in the future. I mean, how many movies do we men watch? You kind of alluded to this. I had to stop you. How many movies do we watch where the bimbo shallow character is there for eye candy, and that's it? She has no negativity. She's there for men's pleasure on and off screen. And pretty funny that 007 is in this movie because that's one of James Bond's calling cards right there. And I tell you what, it doesn't feel so good on this end. I don't like being portrayed this way. The male characters just kind of bowed to every want and moved from the female characters with no pushback. And as I watched with this lens, this idea came into sharp focus. I'm reminded of, do you remember, you guys have seen American Wedding? Mm-hmm. Like American Pie, Yep. And there's a scene where they have to go track down the dressmaker. So they go to a bar in Chicago, and Stifler comes in there, and he's a hot shot, and he's going to go make some moves, and they're like, you better look around. And he notices that it's a
gay bar, right?
Yeah, it's a gay bar. It's all men.
Yeah.
And there's like butt cheeks hanging out and everything. And he's like, oh, you just look everywhere. It's all around. That was me when I realized we were the eye candy in this movie. It's everywhere.
It's funny that we haven't talked.
So the only nudity we get is Skarsgård butt cheeks in the boat. And
yeah. We're making breakfast. Sunny side up. He turns around.
That was pretty hilarious.
And I did laugh out loud when he walked away. Yeah, sunny side up. She's like,
His whole character was pretty funny.
Yeah, he had like tattoos. Where it was like the Egyptian eye tattoos or something.
Yeah,
I couldn't see.
But he had something on his cheeks too. I can't remember what it was.
And then there's I pointed out to Tin Man right before we were recording. There's a scene with all the Speedo guys with perfect bodies flaunting themselves on the pier.
With the flippers.
Yeah,
flipper
with the flippers
dance
and
number. Yeah.
Go upside down, twerking, whatever they're doing. The women are in power, and this switch in gender portrayal is actually a thing of beauty, and I could get on board with that sort of critical comedy.
Yes, I'll be quiet, but yes, seriously.
So I changed my lens from taking offense to the portrayal of, and I think that's what I was having a problem with was, and I'll get this way about women's portrayal in certain movies as well, but the portrayal of the men was just so over the top, like buffoonery, but because it was done in this light of a film, I changed my lens from taking offense to the portrayal and put on my comedy glasses and thought, touche, a movie by women for women, turning the male gender on its head. And after that, any theme of romanticism and finding happiness seemed to kind of go down a little bit easier, especially with the added theme of kind of a tongue-in-cheek, how does it feel, guys? Not so good. So,
all right.
Dude, well done. Absolutely well done, in my opinion. felt the same way, and it was so obvious. Like you said, the scene with all the buff dudes. I mean, I can relate to being eye candy, guys. That's not true. That's zero truth there. But
I said us when I said
right. I like that. You're like,
I
guys.
like it. I like it, but I still feel like it came a little too late. That is like half to 3/4 through into the movie where.
But I think
I agree. I'm not disagreeing.
Once
I'm
you find
disagreeing.
out, though, it's everywhere. Because I kind of
to use that to
remember
go back.
things
right
at the start.
I like that.
oh
though.
yeah,
I like I think that was the moment that it became almost. I'm going to say this, almost really good, because it was clever. I thought because I'm like I mean, maybe not super clever because it was clever enough to get me. The whole first time I watched it, I didn't see it as a redeeming quality, saying, "Oh, okay, that's what's happening here." But like I did get the feeling watching it the second time, like, all right, this is, we're celebrating the flip side, and if we're going to celebrate the flip side, let's make it even absurd. Let's use absurdity a little bit even more. Let's take it up a degree, and let's really objectify these guys here. And there was no better scene than the one with the flippers and the guys all cut up and dancing, and even dancing in a very provocative way for the women's clearly for the women's pleasure.
Oh, yeah. She's on the rocks in a one piece watching these Speedo men.
That's right.
And
that's
just
right.
kind of cheering and giggling on the
that's right. And I thought to myself, even like the male leads are all handsome gentlemen. Mm-hmm. They're all handsome gentlemen, and it's like she's a rock star, whimsical woman who had these flings, and that's celebrated. So now with that lens, it makes perfect sense that she's their champion, that she's the champion of these women, and as a viewer, I always think to myself, holy male insecurities, Batman. Is this why I hated the movie so much? and it might have played a role in it, because I like to think that I'm very, I have a wide array of perspective, and I have a lot of different kinds of friends, and I think I see with a certain lens, but I'm at the core, hey, I am still just a guy standing in front of a movie, asking it to make sense to me, but I have my male lens, Mm-hmm. And then it's so funny because when Vaz was talking, I'm sitting here like in the old colonial days or British Parliament days, tapping on the table like, yes, as he's talking, yes, raising my cup.
So in the first 10 minutes of the podcast, K-Max is about to steal I wrote 3 pages of notes here, and I was going to read them off, and he starts to creep right up into my space. I had to stop him so that I could actually.
You're like, easy, Rhino, easy. Just a curious little rhino.
I spent 3 hard hours typing these things up. I'm going to use them.
Strong though, man. Strong stuff.
Tin Man.
I don't know if it saves the movie because I don't like the conflict. It just extends this little bit of conflict all the way through. And the theme makes a little more sense, maybe a little more palatable, but it still irks me that it doesn't move. The songs don't relate to the story sometimes. It just more silliness, more fun and silliness. I'm like, are you going to get to some more conflict here? Oh, actually, I'm just going to extend it further. And we're going to sing another song. Like, oh my God.
Okay. So
I will say this though. I can forgive Sophie for the hey, I don't know which one my dad is, and I snuck through my mom's notes, and I'm going to invite all 3 of these dads. I'm a dad. I have a daughter, and if it was some female who was like, I'm not sure who my dad is, I'm going to invite these 3 guys, and I'm going to figure out which one. They had a fling with your mom and left. F them. They show up and they're like, yeah. If you show up and you figure out who your dad is, that's cool. You got someone to give you away. She was kind of upbeat and positive. She wasn't like a bridezilla or real negative. She was kind of like, let's fun, let's take a chance. It's your wedding. Go for it. Whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't end up not getting married, which bugs me still. They're like, let's this whole thing for the wedding. Let's not. Let's go travel instead. I'm like, you can't do both. All right, whatever.
I love that. Can I just stand ... for a second, like Vaz said? I I want to get this out there. It might get cut, but I have a friend in music who shamefully does it, and he does it without fail every time you get a text from him, ... You're like, well, what am I supposed to read there? ... What is he supposed to read? And then as this movie was playing, that was like a little...
Would just send the text ...
Yeah, but we'll say something.
Would he say, like, text you, like, band practice tonight at 8?
Yes, that's exactly true with everything he does. And so all the guys in my band, including the horses' asses that Daryl and LP, we would all be like on a separate chat, like, did you see the dots? What does he mean by that?
Yeah.
What are we going to do? What's he insinuating? Are we wearing buttless chaps? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, we're like saying, what's he saying there? There's dots here. And he still does it. We've known him for like 30 years, and you'll get something now. Are you having the Christmas benefit this year? ...
Wait. So he question mark? And
Right.
he asked the question mark, and then ellipses.
Yes.
What? Why?
I don't know. That's exactly it. Who
'Cause
knows?
I do use them, but I use them because the sentence isn't quite complete.
That's
And
not why
then-
you use them. I got your text.
Turn around, show him.
Anyway, that was a total aside, but I just thought the ... dots are... I thought that was kind of clever, too, and that was funny. And I thought those girls were adorable in that when they were singing that part, like,
I kind of feel like that's the female spin on that sort of thing, where the male would be very crass, like, oh, we did this, we did that.
Yeah.
I did it twice,
Yeah.
so did this way.
They did it in
Yeah.
Greece. That's exactly what it was in Greece. And the songs related to the events that transpired.
Yeah.
But the songs, like, I don't know. I feel like Greece did everything right that this movie didn't do right with their songs.
I think it's from the nature of how it was written, though, too. Like, it was kind of reverse engineered, whereas Greece was a little
they
bit...
patched the songs and tried to
Yeah.
make them fit the...
And then there were some
where
songs...
Greece songs were for the specific...
I believe that's the case.
Well,
Yeah.
Greece had also had the male. It had two perspectives. It had the
That's
male
true,
and the
that's
female.
right.
So the male
Tell
version,
me about it, stud.
Well,
I've heard that before, too.
if you
That's not true.
read the lyrics for Grease Lightning, you're gonna be like, whoa. Was I singing that in school?
Yeah. Was I in 6th grade play singing that out loud?
Absolutely.
Was that why my teacher was like lowering the volume real
Yeah.
quick and turning it back up?
Isn't that
The
funny?
chicks will...
I didn't want to say it. I was
bleep it out.
thinking it, but
Bleep it
that's
out.
exactly what I feel like we were singing when I was in 3rd grade. And the
Just thought
women's
James was
perspective,
ad-libbing
though,
that lyric.
well, yeah, the women's perspective is like just ensued, or what's the word I'm looking for?
Insinuated?
Insinuated.
Yeah, there it is.
Ensued.
Yeah, like, oh.
So I think that's what you see in this movie, where the ... like and
insinuation
just
is-
in general,
yeah.
like because even the older lady, Christine Baranski from Buffalo.
From Buffalo.
Oh, yeah. It's what was pointed out to me from the 3 people I discussed
from,
this with. From Buffalo. I'm like, yes.
From The Grinch.
Yeah, The
From
Grinch.
Big Bang Theory.
Very pretty lady.
But it was like insinuated when they're doing their number on the beach and the guy's like in the cabana or whatever, and she like disappears off screen, below screen, and it's not like any more graphic or crass than that. She comes back up and he's wearing the towel as a diaper next. So it's but that's just, I feel like that's just a female in general, not like anything specific, but that's just how it's spun. Mm-hmm. But Tin Man isn't going to get off that easy because Vosley and K-Max both had a upon further review moment, and now we need one from the Tin Man. Something
I
something
need-
that's
I need a
improved, something
positive?
that's a positive, something
my
that
gosh.
you can appreciate after
They
viewing.
used some top-notch actors and actresses in this movie. It's very-
If I only
Made it
had a
up.
heart, I would care. I'd be happy.
Oh,
Well,
Opinionated.
last week I was like, oh, what do you think the theme was? He's like, I got a lot of ideas here, but nothing specific. Okay, what was your favorite scene? I got one. Okay.
What was that, Babe? Oh, that was
What's your
Babe.
first reaction? I got none.
Hey, I will say this: you guys have also seen these movies twice. This is my first time seeing it, so there.
So take that.
There. You sound like the
Keep
snake.
picking movies I've never seen before.
The snake from Robin Hood. So there.
Hist.
Yeah.
You're never around when you need you.
So good.
That's it. You've been revoked as Tin Man. You are now East.
Yeah, no, I got nothing else.
Nothing.
I feel like this is the movie that makes people who are like, I don't like chick movies, and this is like the example everyone's going to use.
Sure.
Like, I'm like, I really enjoy a good rom-com chick flick.
Yeah.
I have no problem
I
watching. I
think-
just went through a list of 100. I go, I like that one, that one, that one, that one, that one.
Before this movie, I think you were the most open to
Yeah.
chick movies
Yeah.
of the three of us.
sure.
Absolutely. Yes.
So upon further review,
whatever
you can say...
yeah, whatever smart, fun, romantic twist that can happen in a movie, they didn't have it in this one. That could have got me on board. So upon further review, I'm not giving any more positives.
Oh, wow.
That's fine.
I'm sticking to it. I'm sticking to my guns.
I'm sticking to my God.
I'm gonna have to reverse psychology ask my assignments. Don't not come up with a theme.
He'll have 50. Well, I got 7 pages this week.
I like the idea of the romanticized fantasy from the women's perspective idea.
It's pretty interesting,
we'll
isn't
say-
it?
It gives it more rationale. Whatever reason and logic were tossed out the window, they brought a little bit of it back.
Yeah, sure.
We'll say, what do you think about it as a comedy making fun of manly movies then? Because it's pretty much reversing
There's
the roles.
chunks of it that make sense that I like, that I agree with that. But then there's chunks of the movie where there's no men yet involved, and it's a lot to get through to get to that part.
I think the second scene of the movie is the three men though, because the first scene is her mailing the letter, and after that it's all three men racing to get to Greece.
I thought that was cleverly shot too. How it shows them all coming from their background, getting there.
Felt like felt like a national treasure or something. Like that. Yeah,
The passport photos showing up.
Right.
the bad guy from Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, like swinging to get on his boat or whatever it was. Or am I just remembering that wrong?
No, he did that.
No, you're right on the money.
He did.
Like I think about scenes from the movie. I'm like, am I romanticizing that, or did that actually happen?
Did I just want him to swing?
I was like, was Colin Firth really on a stripper pole? What?
Is he tied to it? Like death by snoo snoo. Sacrificed.
Now here's another thing. All we three fathers have is our own perceptions. And just about the only thing we had in common with this movie is that there were also three fathers. Well, one father, three men, wondering if they're the father. So I'm interested to see just what our fatherly lens had to say about fatherhood in this movie.
I felt like I was able to, in a few ways, good and bad, like as a father, be a little bit defensive of the girl, wanting to reconnect and know that, like feeling apologetic for her and feeling on her side, saying, "Good for you, kiddo, that you value this. That it might be something that it wasn't a value of your mother's to know who this was, but you value it, and you see it as something that's important to who you are and who you're going to be as a wife and as a potential mother yourself. You see that this is something important. I see value in wanting to be given away by my father. I felt like as a dad, I felt like she was advocating for dads, saying, this isn't the value of my mom's, and that's her right. But I'm not going to respect her autonomy and her wishes. I'm going to dig in. I'm going to try to find out here, because this might be a traditional institution to be given away by my dad, but that's an institution that I want, and I'm making this choice as a young lady.
Yeah.
I think also as a dad, I did love the last scene, like the culminating scene where they're like, I don't even care if I'm happy to be 1/3 of your dad. I'm proud of that. And the idea of I felt proud of the guys. I felt proud of the film that these guys, even like the fella, Colin Firth's character, being a gay fella, he's like, yeah, after that I'd never loved another woman. He goes, literally never loved another woman. And but him being like all of them being proud of their role as, and even meeting the girl and seeing her initiative and seeing her how adorable she is and how passionate she is and how even compassionate she is to find out these things, and tactful, like hiding them and whatnot. They were just excited as a dad to be like, I'm excited to be part of your life as your father. Mm-hmm. And instead of the insecurities you can feel as a man, sometimes saying, well, I'm either your dad or you're not. You, young lady, you make a choice here, or if I'm not your dad, I don't want to have to pay for this. That you get your Springer moments of, let's get the blood test. Let's find out for sure here. If I'm going to be financially accountable for you, then doggone it, you better prove to me that you're my daughter.
Yeah.
And then all three of these gentlemen said, yeah, I drank of the sweet well. Yes, I enjoyed that moment. And I might be accountable for this young lady. Yes, I was there. And, I thought as a dad, like, good for you, young lady, for valuing this. And then also, good for the guys, all three of the gentlemen, for not handling it awful, I guess. And is that a low expectation for these dads? I don't know, but none of them handled it awful. All three of them
they
said,
seemed like they had decent character.
Yeah.
Like all three of them, yeah. And I think that also fits in with why being a female led with fantasy, where the males are maybe sometimes eye candy, sometimes this, but I feel like all three of them fit what the females would want in a dad. So 1/3 for each of them, they were all agreeing to it, that it still fits that theme.
Yeah. Like this, my dad could be this adventurer, this wild adventurer. My dad could be this super financially stable, who's going to fund this whole island idea.
Yeah. Former rock star or whatever. Yeah. And you know what? All of them can be, so.
Yeah.
I agree with that.
I think as a dad, that's my perspective there, is admiring the young lady and saying, you go, young lady,
Yeah.
And then also admiring the dads for stepping up. So as a dad, I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah. Like they were all excited to give her away.
Yeah.
And then still, I don't know why she waited so long to finally tell them, like, we're not sure, it's one of you three. Like,
right.
I'm like, I could have had that kind of wrapped up a little nicer, and I feel like all three of them would have been on board to understand.
I think that's part of the...
that's right.
I feel like that's part of the
whimsy, the conflict whimsy that they're holding on to.
The romanticism, though, of everything was, well, it's all going to work out no matter what.
Yeah.
So you're all going to be happy. It's all going to be, no one's got any negativity. It's just going to end the way it's going to end.
Right.
I feel like that was part of it, because it was like K-Mac said, other people would have been, well, who's actually the father? And that wasn't the important thing. So I think you guys are pretty close to what I'm about to say here. And I think that's a good thing, because as I go through it, it's kind of appears to me we all have a similar mindset as a father. So because this is a movie by women for women, we can use that to our advantage. The way these potential fathers are portrayed in the end, where they're all part of the wedding or the ceremony before it turns into a different wedding, each being 1/3 of a father, we can assume that their traits have been cherry-picked by the filmmakers and the writers to be desired in a dad, or as a father to your daughter, or in 007's case, a husband, but we'll save that conversation for another episode. As a father to your child or as a dad, we can see that support seems to be the biggest ingredient. An aspiration to be there for the kid, to be present, or in modern language, support her as the main character. Things like discipline, accountability, and other tougher forms of love are absent from the list of traits because it seems, according to the men's portrayal in the movie, are just not nearly as important as the positivity and support. Being able to run to Greece if it means support, and I don't enjoy this aspect so as much, but it is indeed important. Financial support, or at least the means to be able to financially support. I'm referring to Harry giving presumably large check to Donna to help pay for everything, and she tries to reject it because it's just too much. But but there's also the health and beauty aspect of the cast. So everyone, I mean, it's Pierce Brosnan and Colin Firth and even Skarsgård. I mean, so of course you want your daughter's father to be someone to be proud of, including first impressions. So looks, I mean, certainly matter. And our first impressions of these men is very telling. So we kind of mentioned that. An adventurer, respected, important, well put together businessman or career person, you know, someone important to the community and someone that can financially support with Colin Firth's character. And then life experience, even someone that knows, that's just experienced that life. You know, these weren't young men that
with no worldly wisdom,
right? Like they've been around, they know things, they can be there to guide. You know, they're not new to life, we'll say. And if I'm using this as a critical lens towards myself, do I fit this list of desired traits as a father? And I strive to. Most importantly, support is what I strive for as a father. Other traits maybe I should be paying more attention to, but I think it's important to listen when a film by women is showing you exactly what they want in an ideal father figure, even if the ideal father figure for them is the sum of three men. So that's what I had from a fatherly lens.
Yeah, that's great.
That's good. I like that.
So I think it was like I feel like you guys were on that same path.
Yeah.
Where it was, you know, picking up that if this is by women for women, then this is what they think is good.
Right. I like that.
I was going to insert, like, I don't do the post-production, but I'm like, I'd have applause there. I would have applause. Because I'm like...
But I think it's important to listen when a film by women is showing you exactly what they want in an ideal father figure, even if the ideal father figure for them is the sum of three men.
Ditto.
My sentiments exactly.
Like it Scrubs, that scene where they have this big thing, Dr. Cox has this whole thing, and then JD leans over, four people leans over the microphone, and he says, yes, yes. Yes.
So after everything, do you have a favorite scene?
Sophie in a swimsuit.
I thought you were going to say the credits again.
The credits again. Oh, even the credits had more singing in it. You got some stupid outfits you can put on us and make us sing for during the credits?
As long as they're blue.
I think I enjoyed any of the scenes that had them. I think the first purpose of the idea is taking the music of ABBA, right, and this idea of celebration and family, I guess maybe.
Okay.
And where they're all just kind of, you know, I liken it to the We Are Family playing. I mean, these corny wedding reception moments that they play it, and then the family all goes out there dancing, woo, and they're all dancing a fool. I'm like, when else are you going to do that if you don't do it right now? So I'm like, I like those moments. It's like it's pulling it all together, and she's with her girls, and she's got her daughter who's with her girls, and you have these handsome guys adorning the place nicely with like nice garland on a Christmas, you know, fireplace. those moments where they're all kind of, it's a party and everybody's there and there's nobody left out, and I like the way I felt that everybody's there together, and I like that they're singing and dancing along, and I get past it being a distraction. I guess the first time I watched it, this is a distraction. I'm like, all right, so now we're not only gonna champion this, we're gonna dance and celebrate it. So as an audience member, I have to feel what they're feeling. I'm sorry I don't. Whereas after further review, I found myself kind of maybe bobbing my head and tapping my foot to it, because I'm like, I feel happy for these characters right now. I'm glad they're having this family moment, that they're all together now. And there's a couple moments like that where I found myself tapping my toe saying, oh, I wasn't able to do this last time because if I was tapping my toe, it was tapping it like the cat being annoyed with the tail going like that. Now I found myself tapping my toe saying, I'm celebrating with them. The filmmakers doing their job, because I find myself happy for the characters here. They're all a big family. They're dancing. Even the scene with Meryl Streep's kind of saying to Pierce Brosnan's character, "You don't get to have this moment. I'm sorry, you don't get to have this." As she's walking up the mountain to the ceremony.
Oh yeah, she sprints up the mountain.
Yeah,
in the heels.
Yeah, right. And I thought to myself, you powder her up and give her a wet nap, because she's got to be sweating like crazy. I think of my own insecurities, my own neat freakness, where I'm like, you just ran a good mile and a half up a mountainside,
uphill, yeah.
And now you're going to be at this. You're giving the daughter away.
Yeah.
Girl, you sweaty. Anyway, I got lost there.
Oh, so one of my favorite moments that I seem to enjoy the most is when the three guys are around. I think their play off each other, or their kind of silliness between the three of them, is like, I don't know, the levity that made sense to me, or that was interesting enough that I was like, oh, okay. It didn't seem cringy, over the top silliness, but it was still like the guys had their own characters in place. Like Stellan Skarsgård had like a funny, weird role to him, and Colin Firth kind of played that character quite a few times in movies before moving on to more diverse roles, I guess. But is that kind of a little fuddy, very British?
I like that term, fuddy.
Out of place British guy.
Out of place British guy.
Yeah.
Super British in a not super British area.
Yeah.
And Pierce Brosnan being Pierce Brosnan. But like the scenes where the daughter's spending time with all three of the dads, like just kind of being, hey, we're going on a boat.
Yeah.
And it being kind of just fun for them together to try to get to know the dads. Like, it felt nice.
That did feel nice. I have a smile as you say that. I'm sitting there with that smile of like, I like the way I felt thinking
like,
about that.
There's our upon further review.
Yeah.
That counts.
There you go.
That
There you go.
counts.
There you go then. It felt like...
His heart grew 3 times sizes that day.
It felt like genuine, fun, like genuine, like care for each other, and that they were enjoying the time that they spent with each other. Her knowing, not sure who their dad is, and they're kind of not sure why they're there, but they were there enjoying themselves still. Like it felt okay.
Those were good moments.
I like how when they have all three men, when they arrive and they're introducing themselves, and Colin Firth does like how it's James Bond, but it's his name when he introduces himself. So it's almost like he stole it from Pierce Brosnan, who
That's funny.
introduces
Harry
himself
Bright?
next.
Is that his name? Harry
Bright.
Bright.
Harry Bright.
Oh, I didn't catch that. That's pretty brilliant.
I think it's kind of funny too. I mentioned the idea of the main character, and it's like it's an idea of like you're in a scenario where everyone else's lives and stories revolve around you. And it's not a great thing, but it's a concept I've discovered from like this generation that they've picked up on that where people can act
main
on
character
that.
energy.
Yeah. And I feel like this movie is pretty heavy with it, especially when it comes to like the authentic Greek stuff, where it's just like, oh yeah, these people are like, you had they're in the orchard or something, and there's like an old lady like dressed in like rags or whatever, like carrying sticks or something. I don't know, but they run past her, and they're like modern people running past her. It's like
Frolicky dancing past the help staff.
yeah. As I was like, I thought why are you dressed better than these the Greek people?
It's funny too because that is definitely an adaptation thing, right? Where all the people that are like organic to the setting, they're all like the backup singers in a theater play. They're all like you can even think of Disney stuff, like the people that are just organic to the scene that would be there without the main characters.
Right.
They tend to be the chorus. You call them the chorus in the theater.
Okay.
They're like in Shakespeare, they're the chorus. They're just the townspeople. They're dressed in grays and their palettes are very muted, but they add texture. And it's funny because it's almost like there were several times I don't know if I can remember which times. I wish I wrote them down. Where I felt like they were very Disney background characters that were like almost, the townspeople singing the when Belle's singing the song.
I need 3 eggs.
Yeah.
It's too expensive.
Right? Yeah, I felt like this fits in perfectly, and you can tell it's a screen adaptation of a stage adaptation of a recording artist.
Yeah.
So you have those layers there, and I don't think you can have a piece of art that came from those origins without carrying some of that over. And that's the feeling I had for those like ancillary characters. I'm like, they're muted on purpose because they're part of the organic backdrop. And I don't know if that's right or not, but that's the way I was looking at it, that I saw those characters. And they would even sing, even the help on the little, what is it, for lack of a better term, plantation, the property, right?
I'm sure there's a better term.
Yeah, I know. I'm going to go with plantation. They kind of like adding in their singing or adding in the reactions of as the actions coming into the foreground, they're in the background, and they become the foreground, their reaction, just for a split second, and it goes out. So,
yeah, I think my favorite scene has to be the aha moment when A Man After Midnight starts playing, because that, at the time I'm slumped in my in the couch, and I'm thinking,
I could use A Man After
how do
Midnight.
how do I call the guys and tell them we can't record this podcast? It's going to be a 20-minute show where we have nothing good to say. I'm not seeing anything different than the first time I saw it. And then the song started playing. Like, oh, I know this song. And then once I saw this horde of women tie up these 2 men and start, for lack of a better term, worshiping them. They tie them up to the stripper pole. They're dancing on. They like tie them to the table and they're dancing on top of them, around them. And
good work if you can get it.
I know from experience.
Well, I knew a guy.
Not me, but a guy I know.
Right.
But
a guy named Tin Man I know.
Don't put me.
You mean is?
Sorry, Vaz, jumped right over your point there.
But I think that was my scene because it was like finally like I pulled on a string that had some substance to it. It was kind of like one of those, and it's like finally I can follow something in this movie. And what was probably my least liked thing was the portrayal of the men turned into, oh, okay, it's poking fun at how men pretty much view women in these movies. So every time I see them, I can look for how women think, how they've picked up on their portrayal in movies for men and how it's flipped upside down. So that was the aha moment. I think that has to be the favorite scene because before that it was.
I was so excited when you said that, when you presented that. I was so excited because I didn't want to be the guy with the rug outside my barbershop, He-Man Woman Haters Club.
Yeah.
And then pointing that out. So when you said that, I'm like, whew. Because I agree wholeheartedly. I'm like, that's what made this redeeming for me, was seeing it that way. And it I don't want to say totally, but it almost made it downright enjoyable for me.
I wouldn't go that far.
Yeah, I know, but I found myself tapping, and I'm like, That's not tapping out of
That's
annoying.
your perspective. You can have that all you want. Own it.
And also, if I could say a scene, it's not a scene. It's just the shout out to the back. You've been to these places. I've never been. I want to see a place that looks like that. To actually see it with my eyes, that Greek island. It's like, wow. The friend that got married last summer, and he was telling me about. He was showing me pictures of it. I'm like, oh, it's gorgeous. And then James's family spent some time over there. Whoever that is, Tin Man's family spent some time over and had some family posts and stuff.
Yeah,
and I'm like, that looks unreal, And to have a whole movie where the backdrop it's almost a character. It almost plays a character of the island. I'm sitting there thinking, this is gorgeous. It's just like a heaven, almost like a very utopia, right? Just like a perfect place. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. If you can't see it now, but James is showing me stuff there, and I'm sitting there saying,
that's like the island
"Mamma mia, it's gorgeous." Good gravy.
I was gonna say that's the.
The backdrop is just like looks like.
But that's the color of the flag, so everything there has that same blue and white color to it, too.
Like almost
so
like a nautical theme,
Yeah.
right? And it's cool that you picked it up. Now that I'm remembering her outfit, I remember thinking to myself like a sedimentary rock type feel. Her outfit was like. Mm-hmm. Anyway, rambling.
like stone stuck in concrete. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it's funny, like I picked up on that in the end. Meryl Streep's like wedding outfit like looks like waves, like it literally looks like waves. But I wanted to point out something. Pierce Brosnan singing. So
I got a lot of thoughts here too.
I'm gonna say my piece here, and I'll let you take over.
Okay.
It made me think of Les Mis with the newer one, the Hugh Jackman, Russell Crowe. And so a lot of people had issue with Russell Crowe singing in that movie. I did not, because to me his character was so rigid and by the rules, and his singing matched that same mentality. And maybe not perfect, but it's. You hit the note here, and that's what I'm doing, and you hit the note there, and that's what I'm doing. Compared to the other characters, where they're a lot of people praise their singing, but not Russell Crowe's. So I thought the way that he sang matched his character, and it does. Not every musical has to be filled with good singers. And, you think of like Sweeney Todd. I don't know if you guys have seen, but Helena Bonham Carter's character, where it's not the best singing, but it matches her character.
Absolutely.
And so I actually thought the same thing for Pierce Brosnan's character, because it's something that he's not good at. It's about the only thing that he's not good at, and he's opening up about it.
He's vulnerable.
He's vulnerable, and that's from the women's perspective. You want a guy that is vulnerable and can open up to you. If he were a better singer, I feel like it wouldn't.
It would be like overconfident.
Yeah, it would be like, oh yeah, everything's perfect, and of course he sings great, and but because he's vulnerable in this singing, I feel like it only made sense that that's who she ends up with, because she's vulnerable too. Whenever her past is talked about, it's kind of like she's punishing herself. Well, I can't go travel. I can't do this. I can't have this happen to me. I can't accept your check that would help pay for a lot of things that I need fixing. And so you can tell that it still eats at her, this quote mistake that she had. And so for them to be vulnerable, they even have the song together where they're on two separate sides of the rock there, the wall corner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like it only made sense with his singing capabilities that he would end up with her compared to the other two guys.
Dude, yes.
So
100%.
Nice.
So K-Max.
But, I co-sign, man, just ditto, absolutely nailed it. I felt exactly the same way, and I've said it. I try not to talk to any folks that would give us feedback before we have this, before they get a chance to fairly listen to the pod. But that's something that I had to, because I thought this is something that I don't think it was a mistake. Maybe it was a happy mistake, it was a fortunate mistake, but it painted his character better than the dialogue that they gave him. Even was the way he said it, painted his character more fully. And I want to read. I try to stay away from like reading a lot of what people say, because I'm like, then I'm just parroting what people say, and then what good is my perspective then? Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to see, because I think just film's been out for a bit. You hear some buzz about certain things, and one of the criticisms I heard was Pierce Brosnan's singing, and sometimes it was a distraction for some people. But to me, it carried his role better. It carried his role better that he couldn't. And I love I'm sitting here the whole time zipping my mouth as you're talking, because Russell Crowe in Les Mis was perfect singing for that role. Mm-hmm. And I remember when people were like, as someone who loves musicals, who's acted in musicals, who's not a good singer but has had singing roles in musicals, and I thought, toot my own horn, knocked roles out of the park, because I just embraced the character singing it, almost like a spoken word singing kind of a. And any director would be like, no, you got to be able to hit this note better. Okay, but it's taken. Now you're taken away from who the character is. Mm-hmm. And the perfect example, I thought, well said with the Russell Crowe character. I'm like, yes, he should be singing like that, very authoritative, very. Not a whole lot of pitch variance, not a whole lot of dynamic to how he's singing. He's singing it very almost monochromatic almost.
Right. There's a black and whiteness. There's a definite to his thing.
Very chiseled.
Like you said, there's not a lot of variance. There's not highs and lows, because that's not what his character sees.
Nuance.
Yeah, that's right. It's absolutely perfect. And so Pierce Brosnan, like you said, I'm even glad you said it that way. Probably the only thing he doesn't do well. He's this handsome 007, and he's smooth, and he's says all the right things. His character even makes the right decisions, and is even justified his Samormi moment that she saw it as, well, you went back to this. And he's like, and broke it off immediately, because I fell in love with you. It wasn't real, and I fell in love with you, and I came back looking for you. So it fits in perfectly. Yeah. And almost like the vulnerability. I don't even know if I made that connection, the vulnerability that it painted him more what a woman would like. And honestly, yes, you get this goofball dancing, or someone trying something, and you see the girl sitting there with like giggling, like, that's my guy trying to roller skate. He's not great at it, We get so pulled away that my guy's got to look like this. He's got to be able to do this. He's got to look like this. And you look at some of the things that disarm women, that are attracted to women, that vulnerability, that look at this guy trying to sing, and it's out of his wheelhouse. It's not natural for him.
And because she could only end up with one of the three guys, how are we going to paint the other guys? And he's too attached to adventure in the world, so he's not going to get tied down. Mm-hmm. And the other guy turns out to be gay. So
sure,
who's she ending up with?
And they kind of wrapped that up kind of nicer. Alluded to also that the one guy was going to end up with the short-haired friend as well. They're kind of like dancing together. She was chasing him around the thing.
The one who walked in on him, like turning around in the apron, cheeks
walked
out.
In on. She was spying on him for like a few minutes.
She was listening to that conversation.
Listening, peering through the hatch.
Take a chance on me.
In more ways than one.
If you've ever seen Three's Company with Mr. Roper, going back to the 70s here, whenever he said something funny or clever, he would smile and turn and look off camera, and the camera would hold on him for about a second. When Fozzie says something like that, you see him giggle, he steps back from the microphone. It's that Mr. Roper moment, and I'm like, I love it. I live for this. This is why the podcast rocks for me. It's something you said about the character too, and like the singing. I made that comment to two people. One is a male colleague, and one's a female colleague, who had both seen, and they're both podcast listeners of the pod, and made the comment. And it's funny that the female said made the character better, made him more relatable. It it showed some vulnerability, and it made more sense that he didn't. I connected more with the character's purpose by him not being a great singer. And then meanwhile, the guy is like, "What a distraction!" What they picked him because he's handsome, fine, but man, if a guy can't sing, he shouldn't be in a musical adaptation. And I'm like, I got the same feeling from that guy that I had on my first impression with the movie. Like, there's nothing that was redeemable. And I think maybe if someone approached you about something before you had the lens, you might be less inclined to say, yeah, to admit anything redeemable about the movie.
I think if anything, because I have the lens already for Russell Crowe in Les Mis, I feel like that may have been the only thing that I could have defended. Everything else before watching it with the intention of improving our perception on the movie.
Yeah,
I feel like that would have been the only thing that I could be like, hold on, like
I see.
He sang like that, but it matches, and here's my example, and I would still say
I got you.
But Tin Man, do you have anything to add about Brosnan's singing, or did we pretty much cover everything for you?
No, I mean, I like that because his character was in vulnerable moments at the time, because he's trying to convince Donna, that's right, Donna, about his position and his love for her, and it is from a vulnerable position. And I had saw reviews about him being a bad singer, but I was like, it's Pierce Brosnan. If there's anything he's not, I'm like, that's fine. Like, I thought I was like, yeah, that's better than any of us could do.
Is that the only thing you got on him?
Oh, yeah.
Like, have you seen him?
Yeah.
Like, do you want us to tell you what you're bad at?
Yeah. I was like, I can forgive that. That's fine.
You want me in the role? I sing better than him, but I'm going to be shirtless. Gotta laugh that hard. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. People are throwing up in studio right now. And I am shirtless.
New guy's
right
in
now.
the corner puking his guts out.
New guy's in the corner puking his guts.
All because. No, so I'll ask you this then, Tin Man. What was your viewing experience? I mean, like, how did you physically watch the movie?
Just on my phone. On my phone.
It was just you alone?
Just me alone on my phone, yeah.
Wow.
I watched it. I watched the first half, and then I took some notes down, and then I watched the second half and tried to go back through with the notes, and then watched, like, there was someone who did a review on it, and I kind of wanted to see their point of view or perspective of it, and then there was something else I looked up. Just IMDb, all the stuff from the IMDb, so if there's any trivia or who all the actors act and anything else they were in. Mm-hmm. That would be, just on my phone. I did it all yesterday and then today. So yesterday I watched. My phone was all screwed up, my last one, so I just got a brand new phone. But I don't know if you saw it.
Christened it with Mamma Mia.
Yeah, that's the first movie. That's the first movie on the list. I
love the fact that our search engines are all Mamma Mia. Look at these three clowns.
K-Max, you said you watched it with some fans?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're distance watches, so, like, you watch at the same time and you have little chat. Almost like during COVID when you would have, like, a group, you know what I mean? You're watching at the same time and kind of getting the idea and getting little shots back and forth. It's kind of cool how, like I said, one female, one male, and getting feedback in real time and looking at some of the things that are said. And it was like, okay, we all share this opinion. Okay, we all share. Ooh. And then the scene that you mentioned with the woman, with the young hot guy with the long hair on the beach, where she's kind of like really overtly like sexualizing him. You know what I mean? Like, and thinking all three of us were like at one thing saying creepy. Creepy. Then I was almost going to go on a mission and Google and look. I try to stay away from it though if I can, but it's almost going to try to go in and look at scenes like that it's flipped a little bit, and I would bet there's probably a lot of them that aren't. If it's flipped a little bit, where it's like a girl walking by on the beach, and But I'm hoping, I might be wrong, that as a society we see that as doesn't matter if it's a big guy or a woman, that a little bit creepy when there's that big difference of an age gap. Like if there's a guy who's, let's say, 50 something, and you got this 18-year-old on the beach or whatever walking on the beach, whether it's if it's male woman flipped, that we'd all say cringe just a little bit, just a tiny bit, But I don't know if there's much we cringe about anymore at all. Yeah. I was thinking to myself, am I being a huge prude here? Like saying, dude, this is weird.
I feel like it's weirder now because when what was it, Dazed and Confused? That was not a weird out of the pocket thing for Matthew McConaughey to be like. That's a great thing about high school girls, 17. They stay the same age. Like that wasn't that weird then when that came out, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, honestly, no, you're not, because I look at rock and roll lyrics all the time. And there is so much Beatles, Rolling Stones, Eagles, like great songwriters that their characters are not of age of consent, like blatantly, and some things written about them that I'm like, I cringed then when I was in the middle of playing in cover bands when the lead singer would sing it. I'm like, kind of like ducking down a little bit behind the drum kit. Or God help me if I had to be the singer for a song like that. I remember singing I Saw Her Standing There once. We were playing it out. And just the very first lyric, I'm playing drums and doing my Ringo thing. And, well, she was just 17. I'm like, what the hell am I singing?
Eye contact with your
70.
students.
Yeah. Playing at RIT, playing on Eddie's campus in the corner there, playing it and thinking, all right, I'm in my mid-20s and I'm arrested. You know what I mean? Winking. Yeah. Maybe if I wasn't winking while I was playing it, it wouldn't have been as creepy.
Strong eye contact with that.
Yeah, right. See, I should take a picture and post the Tin Man's face. He's like a Simpsons character. But anyway, you know what I mean? Like that little bit of a... Anyhow, I wasn't trying to make a social commentary. I was just making a comment of...
No, everyone agreed. Everyone's like, it is a little different when it's the female that's older. I feel like it has to be. It's a little different because the guys are, guys are guys.
Honestly, I didn't see the guy objecting to much either. You
know
what I mean?
He seemed down.
My viewing experience, I think I kind of alluded to it. I watched it in halves, and each time was by myself. So I watched the first half up until I got to the scene that sparked my
analysis.
I was trying to look for anything else that wasn't interest. It sparked my analysis of it. So once I got that, I kind of stopped and then finished the rest of it the next day. And it was kind of like a good change to stop there, kind of think back on everything that I've been shown up until that point, to readjust my lenses a little bit, and then start back up at that point with, having thought about it for a little bit. But I tend not to look up any reviews or any other analysis of it because I want mine to be my own. But I like, after I have established what I think, then I don't mind hearing others and kind of seeing what I missed and all that. And I certainly didn't want to view more of because people that are going to analyze the movie are going to be big fans of it, and I feel like because I'm not the biggest fan of it, that's going to be tainted for me to try and watch something that someone's their biases for it, and I'm just looking for an even playing field where it's I can see it in a different lens. I don't have to like it. I can just treat it with respect, though. So, I wanted to very quickly, in the spirit of upon further review, I watched Love Actually last week. 2 weeks ago, right after our chapter episode of Upon Further Review, because apparently I hate myself. So I watched. I think I watched the whole thing with my wife, and so literally a minute in, I pause it and I turn to her and I say, "Okay, so already what I'm gathering here is it's a movie. It shows us on screen the theme. Like you don't even have to search for it. It says love is everywhere actually, or love actually is everywhere. Something along those lines. But it says it in text on the screen. So you don't have to search for it anywhere. All you have to do is pick up all the other scenes that they show you from then on and relate it to that theme." And so I said, it's not going to be, I told her, well, to me, they're in this airport to start off. So it's not going to be not limited to romantic love. It's going to have all forms of different love, family love, friendship love, of course, romantic love, parental, I said all sorts of these relationships. And then while it was still paused, I said, I already figured out why it's set at Christmas then, because you couldn't do this same thing at Valentine's Day, because then it would favor romantic love. And since you want to showcase all kinds of love, you're setting it at Christmas when there's all sorts of different types of love and relationships are highlighted at Christmas time. And I asked her, am I close? And she says, yeah, it's. I was like, that was a minute into the movie. So I'm like, okay, let's see how the rest of this goes then. There's all sorts of different types of love. They even had physical love, like literal adult actors, and then you had covetous love, like the one guy's after his best friend's wife, newly married, he's still after her. My wife, I asked her what was her impression of the movie, and her thoughts were that it showed the imperfections of love. So I thought that was a pretty cool insight, because each of these relationships had they weren't perfect stories. Like the Alan Rickman character falls for the girl, but not completely. Which I pointed out was such a funny to me moment in the movie. I got up to pee and I came back, and they're at the art opening that Alan Rickman's attending, and I know that his assistant, or whoever she is, I know that she was causing trouble, right? But she shows up and she's dressed like a devil. And so I turned to my wife. I said, why? This isn't a costume party, and it's set at Christmas, and it's an art opening. Why is this woman literally dressed like the devil? He's like, good point. It's like, some things are on the nose, but this doesn't even make sense for the story. And I also had I feel like it didn't age well for men, how we're portrayed. You had a guy, they had the prime minister falling for his assistant, who hasn't heard of the man in the government falling for the help in the place.
The secretary.
Right. Yeah. And then Alan Rickman's character falling for, again, another girl in the workplace, and ignoring his wife and children. So overall, I appreciated that it was trying to show that there's not just a single type of love, and that they're not perfect. So I could at least appreciate what it was trying to say to me, but not for me, we'll say.
Okay.
So I can respect it well enough that that's what it was trying to say. Have you guys seen it? You
Yep.
guys have seen it. What were your thoughts on it?
I've not seen it.
Well, my thing is I liked it because, I just liked it. I took it as I like all the celebrities, right? I like all the actors. And the first time I watched it, it was like, it's Christmassy enough for me to enjoy it. I wasn't comfortable with a lot of the dynamic in it the first time I watched it, and it's funny because when there was an appointment and I couldn't remember which one was for you and which barbering appointment, which one was for the boy, and so I had Love Actually queued up in the barber shop, and I had it on, and as Mrs. Vosley walked in, I was laughing my butt off as she walked in. I said, I didn't know if it was Corey's appointment or not, and I pointed, and she just cracked up laughing because Love Actually was on. I said, I'm going to put Home Alone on for the kids. But I had it on. I was like, I thought I was going to be clever and have it on there and say, well, here you go. You can have even further review, my friend. But like, things that stand out now looking at it, like when you said it didn't age well, I'm like, there's some real commentary. It's like, okay, this is like a kind of a movie that's supposed to appeal to women, I think maybe, that's written by a guy.
Has to be.
Yeah.
That all the men are the main characters.
That's right.
Their storylines,
And
all
the
the
stuff
women
just
are
kind of
just static.
It just happens to women. The
Yeah.
film just happens to women is what. And I thought that when I first watched it, but the star power carried me through that. I guess, like, this is interesting enough. Upon further review, I'm like, I'm kind of insulted for women in this movie because there's some good, like Emma Thompson. There's some good Keira Knightley. There's some very good female characters in here who are they're almost like pylons to be acted around, and they're foils to be. They don't carry the story. That things happen to them, and I'm like, this is maybe one of the biggest. If there's going to be a criticism of movies, and yet the audience. People that tend to like it tend to be females.
Like the men in each of the storyline is making the action, and the woman is just kind of doing day to day. So there's, I don't know, like I said, I don't like when that pops up in movies and it's not recognizing itself in doing so.
Yeah.
Where
it's almost justified when it's recognizing itself.
Right. Like even slashers and horror movies, they know, like, oh yeah, we're trying to appeal to this crowd, so here's some gratuitous nudity.
Yeah.
But this one seemed like it was taking itself serious, talking about love, but then it was portraying these women characters in such a, to me, negative. Not negative, but just static and. Just plain Jane, static, nothing, no activity when it comes to finding love and keeping love. And even the one character that has the issue with her brother doesn't find love because she doesn't do anything to, literally,
Yeah, right.
when they're together, and doesn't chase it. And like, I don't know. I think that's why it's still not for me. I don't like when we just discussed it. I don't like when the gender stuff pops up and it doesn't recognize itself.
I think it's a nice little contrast then to what we've discovered about Mamma Mia. Again, not our favorite still, but after further review, we can see pull a lot more out of it by seeing the identifier of, oh, okay, this is almost like a turntables type view here. And Love Actually is a nice contrast to that. Because, like, there's movies that you can look at and say, as a man, I'm offended watching that, man. I'm like, I'm not that. Again, I pick on Eddie. Commercials and stuff, the character, the dopey husband who's always wrong, and the brilliant wife that's always right. He says, "Eddie, did you take this out today?" Of course you didn't. I get offended for guys in that type of thing. I'm like, yeah, come on. But for every one of those characters, there's got to be several films like Love Actually where women are probably like, I think should be saying, yeah, I'm a lot more than that.
Right.
I'm a lot more than that. And that's why that one, after further review, kind of walks back a little bit now.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Isn't that funny how this works also, that we find this out about Mamma Mia, and then our only other movie that was in contention to watch for this episode is right in the same thing, but on the other side of the fence.
That's right.
So it's funny how that works out.
That's cool.
I swear, I only half plan these things that they end up working out like that.
Goodbye. You just been to Death Perception. We have discussed movies. No.
Disgust movies like DISGUST.
I am disgust.
It's kind of cool how it all fits together like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, that was our brief analysis on Love Actually. I wanted to kind of throw that one in there because that was another one of my enemies in cinema.
What is this BS? My favorite.
Enemies in cinema.
I'm never going to have a more apex moment of the Vaz and Mrs. Vaz relationship of her watching something and enjoying it and him sitting down. And he goes, it could even be the nativity. What is this BS? It makes me laugh every time I think about it. This is your child's spelling bee video. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Well, our next episode is our What is a Christmas Movie?
Our next episode is our last episode.
So in that episode,
for the season, for 2024 season,
we're going to have our own criteria. It's going to be a Venn diagram. All three of us are going to have our own criteria of what makes a Christmas movie. And then we're going to kind of debate some movies and using our criteria, defend or attack if a movie is a Christmas movie or not.
Oh my gosh.
We'll see how many movies we agree on, and we'll see how many movies we don't. And from there, each of us is going to pick a movie that isn't unanimous among the three of us, or a movie that we haven't seen before that may or may not be a Christmas movie. And that'll round up the rest of the year, and we'll end up taking a break because that'll be the end of season 1, and then season 2 will resume sometime in early 2025. But that's what we got to look forward to during this season, the Christmas season, that is. And until then, this is Depth Perception.